Greetings and welcome to another episode of Shop Talk here at Page 3's Game Zone. I'm Nathan Varden.
And I'm Aaron Sawyers.
And today we're going to be taking a look at Legendary, a Marvel deck building game, Secret Wars Volume 1.
Oh yeah.
So we have, I think this is the first Legendary release that we've had since we've been doing Shop Talk.
Oh yeah.
I'm not positive about that, but I'm pretty sure.
No, we've done Dice Masters, but I don't think we've done Legendary yet.
So this one I've been looking forward to for quite some time, and we're going to take a look at the. It's finally out, obviously, so we're going to take a look at some of the cards that come in it, and then we'll come back and let you know what we think about this edition of Legendary.
Absolutely.
So here we're going to start off taking a look at some of the playable characters that start in the hero deck, assuming you're playing the heroic legendary, or of course in the ally deck if you're playing legendary villains. So Apocalyptic Kitty Pryde is one of the characters here, and I hope the matte finish on the sleeves does not provide too much of a hindrance here for us. But you know, each of the characters, just as with the previous games, have multiple versions. This edition the Years of Future Past and or Age of Apocalypse, I guess I should say, Secret Wars comics, but it surely looks like that it is. But Kitty has some pretty neat abilities. She's got that she runs on KOing cards and manipulating things to give you bonus strength, depending on what cards go out. And just a solid overall, a lot of red, a lot of, I guess, tactical card effects for Apocalyptic Kitty Pryde. All right. Next, we're going to take a look at Namor, the Submariner. Namor's a really fun character. I really like that they've, comic-wise, that they've brought him into, you know, kind of into the X-Men for the most part. This particular Submariner is a member of the Cabal. I'm pretty sure all of his cards are members of the Cabal, which is a new faction, a new team introduced into the game. And the Cabal, for those of you that aren't familiar with the Secret Wars comic books, are kind of, you know, some of the roughest and most evil characters in the Marvel Universe that have escaped the annihilation of their realities and made it onto Battle World and are taking part in the Secret Wars. So Namor has mostly yellow instinct versions and green strength versions. His unique version is a 7 cost. He allows you to defeat any villain for free, and then if you have played 2 strength cards and 2 instinct cards prior to that, you can defeat the mastermind once for free. So a really, really powerful and good ability. A little bit hard to pull off, but with some characters, I don't think Namor has, where some characters now have multiple, and I don't know if you can see this. Let me see if I can kind of get it close here and zoomed in. Many of the characters have multiple card types. So this particular Namor, Feed the Sharks, is strength and instinct. So that's a way, particularly, you know, even if you just played a couple of the Feed the Sharks Namors, it will turn on the Imperious Rex's secondary ability just with those 2 cards. So that makes that a little easier to be able to pull off if you've managed to pull off a Namor heavy deck. Next, we'll take a look at the Doctor Strange characters that come in the set here. They are part of the Illuminati. The Illuminati is yet another new Team, another new faction in the game, and they have looks like a little orange triangle as their set symbol. There we go, got it to focus finally. And you see there Doctor Strange also. This particular one, the Trust Me I'm a Doctor, which of course is a great name for a card, has two traits to him. He is a yellow instinct character and a blue ranged character as well. There's a 2 cost, 4, 5, and 7 cost Doctor Strange. And now, of course, I can't get it to focus back in on what I have. Anyway, the 7-drop Doctor Strange, which, there we go, which you can see there, the Sorcerer Supreme, he allows you to reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, draw any number of them, and teleport the rest. And, of course, teleport being an ability that allows you to set cards aside, and then at the end of your turn, after you draw your normal hand back up, you add any cards that you have teleported back to your hand for the next turn. So, really cool cards there for Doctor Strange. And here we have Captain Marvel, the Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, I think it's Carol Danvers, that's the Captain Marvel here. She's an Avengers team affiliation. She's got 2, 3, a 5, and a 7 cost version, and her unique version, the 7 cost, Cosmic Energies, costs 2 strength and 2 range, 2 green and 2 blue to activate, and she goes from being a +5 strength to a +11 strength, so you get an additional +6 attack power when you pull that off. So some really neat abilities. Most of her cards are for strength. She does have her 1/3 drop there. The Absorb Energies is for influence. Next, we'll be taking a look at Ultimate Spider-Man, the Miles Morales Spider-Man. He has a cost of 2, 2, 2, and 2. What do you know? They are all the Spider Friends, the Spider-Man Allies team affiliation. His unique version, the Hero from Another Dimension, which is an upside-down card as far as the art goes. It says you get +2 strength or attack power, however you want to call it. I call it strength. For each other card that you have played this turn that costs 1 or 2. So he really is going to be playing on running the small, I guess, to use an old Magic term, the weenies version of a legendary deck. And of course, being that he has tactics, tech, strength, and instinct, so he's got a very versatile, brings a lot of versatility to any deck that you may be playing. Next, we'll be taking a look at Old Man Logan, and this is Wolverine, for those of you that are not familiar with that. He has a 3, 5, 6, and 7 cost. They are all X-Men affiliations and are all instinct, are all yellow cards. The Loner also is also a red tactical trait. The unique version, the No More Heroes, Old Man Logan, costs 7. It gives you +5 strength, and then it says reveal your hand. You get +5 strength if you haven't played a Shield or Hydra, any Shield or Hydra cards, and don't have any in your hand. So the other Logans allow you to get rid of, if you're not, like this particular one, Loner, here says, if you don't recruit any heroes this turn, you get an additional +2 strength. And then this one, with an instinct trigger, allows you to KO a card from hand or discard pile. If you KO a wound, you get to draw a card. But so, in other words, all of these, which, I mean, most of the time, well, I guess all the times, the cards really do have good synergy with each other. But here, Wolverine, for the first time that I've seen, or I'm sorry, Old Man Logan, is working on trying to not recruit, to having a really, basically just buying the bare necessities and just running almost quite literally just an Old Man Logan deck with almost no other characters if possible, and just getting rid of completely, trying to get rid of, even more so than most other characters, your basic either Shield or Hydra characters, depending if you're playing villains or heroic legendary. So, pretty neat thing. Also, there's, I guess I'll point out here, the cross-dimensional Wolverine Rampage that the Rage Out has is an ability that there's several other characters. Hulk has that ability. There's a couple others that we'll see as we go. The cross-dimensional Rampage ability, when a character rampages, in this case, each other opponent would gain a wound if they don't reveal a Wolverine or Logan card from their hand, or Weapon X. I think there was 3 for Wolverine. Then they gain a wound. So pretty neat. The same thing again that Hulk and some of the other characters have. So it's a neat, flavorful ability that they've introduced into the game. Next up is the Superior Iron Man. He has a cost of 2, 3, 5, and 8. They are all Illuminati team affiliations and are either tech or range or both traits. The Humble Brag, the unique version that costs 8, gives you 5 strength and says, draw a card for each other player who has fewer cards in their victory pile than you, and the name of it is #HumbleBrag, and that may quite honestly possibly be the best name for a card in the entirety of Legendary. I'm a little bit biased because I think the Superior Iron Man character of the book is pretty darn awesome. So they're definitely bringing it right, the flavor of that right into Legendary. So some really cool things that work right along with other Iron Mans that have been previously released. Next up, we have Maximus, a Cabal affiliation. He has costs of 3, 4, 5, and 7. They are all either tech or tactics. His unique 7 cost version gives you 4 strength, and then also says each other player reveals a tech hero or chooses a hero or villain in their victory pile. You defeat all of those. Henchmen for free. And then if you have played another Cabal hero before that, a Cabal character before that, he gives you an additional +1 strength for each henchman that you defeated this turn. So, a really neat ability that the likes has not been seen in Legendary to this point, and that is Maximus. Now we'll be taking a look at Lady Thor. She has costs of 3, 4, 6, and 8. They are all either strength or range. She operates similarly to previous versions of Thor, where gaining a lot of either influence or strength triggers other benefits, depending, for other versions of the card. So, her unique 8-cost version, if I can get the camera straightened back out here, provides 4 influence, and then it says once per turn, if you made at least 6 influence this turn, you get an additional +6 strength. So she's a 4 and a 6 for influence and strength, if you can generate just 2 additional influence beyond just playing the 8-cost Lady Thor. So a pretty neat, solid character for anybody that's running Avengers, or also looking to build a Thor deck. If you wanted to team the 2 of those up, that'd be pretty neat, I think. Black Bolt is next on the list here. He's got costs of 3, 4, 6, and 8. They are all the Illuminati affiliation and are a little bit more diverse than most characters in their traits. We've got range, and tactics, and strength, and range again. So 3 different traits amongst the Black Bolt characters here. The Speak No Words is a perfectly flavorful version of Black Bolt here, where it has no text. Just 2 influence and 1 strength, cost 4 to buy, so that's a really solid card. Also has 2 different traits, tactics and range, so that's a really good card in my opinion, for a cost of 4. His unique version, Hypersonic Scream, that costs 8, generates 3 strength, and says for each card with no rules text you played this turn, draw a card. La 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 la. Yeah. All right. Take a look at Black Panther next. He has costs of 3, 4, 6, and 7. They are all Illuminati team affiliations. He also is a very versatile character. As far as traits go, we've got instinct, tactics, strength, and tech. So 4 different trait types in the Black Panther, for Black Panther, and all 4 versions of him in this set have 2 traits. So a really cool, useful card, and particularly the multifaceted genius that costs 4. He gives you 2 strength and an additional +1 for each other multicolored card that you've played on that turn. So a really solid character. Drawing a card for the 1. And then his unique 7-cost version allows you to gain 3 sidekicks, and we'll talk about sidekicks more here in just a bit. And if you play another Illuminati character beforehand, you put those 3 sidekicks on top of your deck. So a really, really good character in this new Secret Wars set, Black Panther. And next we'll be taking a look at Magic, Colossus's little sister, Ilyana Rasputin from the comics. She's got costs of 2, 3, 5, and 7. They're all X-Men affiliated and are either tactical or ranged abilities. Her 7-cost, 3 of her 4 versions have teleport, and her 7-cost unique version generates 2 strength and says to choose a villain or mastermind in your victory pile, and then she gains strength equal to its printed victory point value. So yet another very unique and different ability that we're seeing here, and that is on Magic. Here we have Proxima Midnight. Also, another card that plays that will work well with the Black Bolt that we took a look at just a little bit ago, where she has no text on her card. She has costs of 2, 4, 5, and 8. They are all Cabal teams and are either instinct or tactics traits. Her 8-cost unique card, Supernova Spear, gives you 4 influence and 4 strength, and then with a tactics trigger, it says you get an additional +4/+4 for both sides. So a really neat and balanced card. Almost all of hers, as you can see, work towards having influence and strength generated from each card. So a really neat card, kind of reminiscent of out of Dark City, Iron Fist, and a few other characters of the sort. And finally, for the playable characters in the game, is Thanos. For those of you that know me, you should not be surprised that Thanos is the last one. He has costs of 3, 5, 6, and 8. He is, of course, a member of the Cabal. His traits are range and strength. He's got teleport on 1 card. He generates strength and influence on his various cards. He functions on killing bystanders, and I guess his connection with death is allowing him to feed on their souls. And because when we first played, I was kind of like, well, why are we wanting to KO all these bystanders? I'm kind of not sure. And then I finally got to see Utter Annihilation. He has 8-cost unique version. This is KO a bystander from 6 bystanders from the bystander stack. Then defeat a villain or mastermind whose strength is less than the number of bystanders in the KO pile. So, yes, God. I mean, Thanos. I mean, yeah. All right. So that wraps up the playable characters in Secret Wars, and next we will take a look at some of the other things that are included in the set. Next, we'll take a look at the Henchman and the new, always available character that's introduced here for Heroic Legendary. We have the Sidekick, which is Bucky there. It costs 2. You can buy 1 per turn, only 1 per turn. There's certain cards, as we thumb through, there were some of the playable characters that allowed you to gain sidekicks as an ability, and that does not count towards the 1 per turn. But similar to the new recruits from the villains set that cost 2, the new recruits allowed you to draw a card, and they gave you a +1 strength. Sidekick here just allows you to draw 2 cards instead of giving you any benefit to strength or influence, and I really like that as opposed to the new recruits. So. Also here we have the 3 henchmen groups, Modocs, Ghost Racers, and Thoracor. Each of them costs 3 to defeat and provide various and sundry abilities here. The Thoracor allows you to gain them as a hero, and that's something introduced into Secret Wars in a great way, is a number of characters that you will fight out of the villain or adversary deck. You actually will gain them as characters that you can use to fight on your side for the remainder of the game. Also, Ghost Racers has Ambush, Rise of the Living Dead, and that's another new thing introduced into Secret Wars, is the Rise of the Living Dead. Anytime a character with that ability, particularly with that Ambush ability, hits the city, then anyone that has a character with a Rise of the Living Dead ability on the top of their victory pile, that character reanimates and comes back into the city. So you lose one of your victory point cards and have another character that you have to fight in the city. And that becomes a really brutal and vicious thing if you don't are not careful with and making sure to bury your dead, so to speak. Next up here are 3 of the villain groups here. We have Limbo, Manhattan, Earth 1610, and Wasteland. Each of these groups have a lot of really cool characters. You see the art is very reminiscent of the original crossover. Oh my gosh, I'm ashamed to call myself an X-Men fan. Days of Future Past. Thank you, Voice from Beyond. Style art there from you see here. There's a cross-dimensional Thor Rampage here, and then this Wasteland Kingpin has an escape effect that is introduced into the game, and there's several villains that you'll be facing, particularly ones out of the Wasteland and out of the Deadlands. Kingpin, if he escapes, he ascends to become a new mastermind, and he gains, and it has a Master Strike ability there. So if he escapes the city, he becomes yet another mastermind that you have to fight, and that is awful. I mean, it's an awesome ability, but when it happens to you, it is awful. So make sure those guys don't escape. To complete the villains, these are the other 3 villain groups in the Secret Wars Volume 1. We have Sentinel Territories, the Deadlands, and the Domain of Apocalypse. Several of the Deadlands, and I think all of the Deadlands cards have Ambush, Rise of the Living Dead. And as I mentioned before, that sucks. So you don't want that happening to you. The Domain of Apocalypse, the Magneto here, as well as this Mr. Sinister, several, actually, there's the Zombie Loki, and wherever he is, I think Aaron's got him buried at the bottom here. The Zombie Mysterio and the Zombie Thanos. Well, the Zombie Thanos, all of those guys ascend to become additional masterminds to fight. The Zombie Mysterio gets shuffled into the Masterminds Tactics deck and becomes another one of his tactics. Sans the Paint the Town Red Mysterio, which is probably the most difficult mastermind for me to defeat consistently in this game, is Mysterio. So he appears here and is going to give me more fits. But all of those guys can become additional masterminds if you are not careful.
I think I got that.
And finally, we've got the 4 masterminds included in this set. We've got Zombie Green Goblin, Wasteland Hulk, Madeline Pryor the Goblin Queen, and Nimrod the Super Sentinel. And so far, I've had to oppose all 4 of these characters now, and it sucks. It sucks bad. None of them are easy to go up against, in my opinion, especially, I mean, even if you're working in full-on co-op mode. So they definitely have added 4 worthy opponents as masterminds into Legendary Secret Wars.
3.
All right, so that is, outside of taking a look at each villain and each mastermind tactic, that is everything that is included in this set.
Yeah.
So a true, now for some of you, you know, that maybe you just wanted to skip ahead to this, and I'll try to remember to timestamp where that is so you can actually just see what we think about this if you're not interested in seeing the cards. But I don't know, to me, when I think of an unboxing, I'd actually like to see
what's in the box.
Aside from just, hey, here's a card. So, and we're going on the premise that you already know how to play Legendary, so that's why I decided to go against the here's how the game works. Let's just say, hey, here's more awesome for Legendary. So, so we got to play when we played the other night, and barely managed to defeat Nimrod.
Yeah, barely.
Then Aaron had to take off, and then I think he knew it was coming up. We got slaughtered by the Goblin Queen.
I hear you guys had, what, 3 masterminds?
And the Zombie Green Goblin.
Yep.
And the Kingpin at one point. And Zombie Thanos.
Oh, you had 4?
Not all at one time, but 3 at one time.
Oh, gosh.
So it was awful. Like, I want to say that we fought valiantly, but I don't think that we did.
Awfully fun.
Yeah. No, it was. It was awesome. If getting beat down mercilessly is ever awesome, that was awesome.
That's the most fun I've ever had in my butt getting kicked. Ever.
So, there are a couple of things that I really like. One, as I mentioned as we went through the cards, the sidekick.
Yep.
I really like the introduction of the sidekick into this game.
I think that is officially my favorite new card that they, the
single card.
Single
yes,
cards,
yes.
The side cards that aren't heroes.
Well, even that is as a new part to the game where that's something that affects all of Legendary, since it should be an always available card.
Mm-hmm.
I really like. I really like that. Draw 2 cards. I mean,
yeah, all day long.
Yes, all day long. There are cards that allow you to gain sidekicks. There was one of the magic cards that allowed you to gain a sidekick, and then if you played a tech card prior to, it allowed you to gain another sidekick.
And then you can buy another sidekick later on.
And then buy another sidekick. So one turn, gain 3 sidekicks. And it's like, well, I don't want to dilute my deck. And then it's like, cool. Dilute your deck with 3 cards that say draw 2 cards and then remove them from your deck.
Yeah.
Oh, please.
I know, I believe one of the gentlemen we were playing with played the Black Panther. He gained 3 sidekicks and put them on top of his
the unique
deck.
Black Panther. Yeah.
So the next turn it was, I get to draw 6 extra cards.
Yep.
Oh, no.
Draw 6, then draw 6 more. And, of course, where he was running several Black Panthers, Bill, was he had more draw a card abilities in there. So, I mean, he was just like, I'm going to hold my deck in my hand. So, which that same game, that was when we opposed Nimrod. I had a few times where I was using some of those Black Panthers. I also had some of the superior Iron Mans in my deck. So I had quite a bit of card draw. You know, that he and I were both going through the majority of our deck pretty much every turn. I know. So it was really streamlined.
With Superior Iron Man, I was racking up the damage because I was using mainly the tech Superior Iron Man. I was racking up the damage each turn because they get +3 if you played a tech before that. So it was like +1, and then it was +3, +3, +3.
Yeah.
And I was racking up pretty good. I just never did have the influence to beat Nimrod.
Another thing that they introduced into this, I kept calling it multi-traits, and I just can't not call it traits. It's called classes.
Multi-class.
Yeah. So, but the introduction of characters that have multiple colors, that are multiple classes, or as I said earlier, traits. That's what I was referring to. I really like that. That is really interesting and makes certain characters like. If you're working on, let's say you're working on, like, well, I really want some Iron Mans here, you know, trying to build on this tech thing, you can gain other characters that still are going to feed that tech need and feed some other things that you are looking for. So it really allows for versatility in purchasing and acquiring cards, as well as gives you a little bit more, I guess, especially for players maybe that haven't seen the full breadth of cards that are available and know everything that all the cards do, makes it a little more forgiving on early game acquisitions into your deck. So as you gain one of these multi-class cards, and then it's okay, well, it's not something that maybe I should have purchased, but the fact that it still had one of the classes that I needed for later on in the game, so there you go.
And I love the fact that they haven't forgot the previous sets.
Yes.
And Miles Morales will work with all the rest of the Spider-Man as well. And I think that's fantastic. And I love
it's amazing.
And
it's spectacular. It's web of.
It's web of?
Yes.
It's web of Spider-Man. Good job. I only hear page 3 games though, guys.
You were saying, I'm sorry.
I also love that they've introduced the new modes, where one player can play as the mastermind himself. All
right, well, I was gonna get to that in a moment, but after we went through some of the other things, Rise of the Living Dead, the cross-dimensional rampages, those were neat new abilities as well. But yes, the final thing I wanted to talk about,
player as the mastermind.
Yes, the one versus many mode introduced in this. We haven't got to try it just yet.
No,
but I am really, really looking forward to trying that out. Because either one player can be the mastermind and fight against everyone else, have their own layer to recruit cards from, or they can play as the commander and have their own HQ and fight against the villains. You can also do a hybrid where they are purchasing from the same HQ or layer that the other players are. But regardless, that mastermind or commander player also has their own deck of cards called an ambition deck that they can utilize. One gets flipped out into play that only they can use each turn. So it's really like, I don't realize.
I love the idea.
I love the cooperative nature of Legendary in the heroic version. I love the backstabbery in villains. But I can't believe that I had not previously thought to myself, how cool would it be to play as one of these and play against everybody else that is in the game.
I guess most of the time I thought these masterminds are awful. I hate them. But
what could possibly make them worse?
Yeah.
If someone were actually controlling them.
If someone was doing things to me already.